Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the top 15 most underrated cars that you can buy for less than, give me a second because I forgot the number, $5,000. That's right, $5,000. I knew that. I was pranking you guys. Actually, it was a prank. Ha! You guys got pranked, idiots. Eat that. Subway, eat fresh. Either way, as we're going over today, boys, if you don't know what underrated means, it means cars that people don't really talk about enough, in my opinion, and they're all under $5,000. Also, if I sound raspy or anything today, I'm getting off of my cold. I'm feeling better, but unfortunately the problem with that is now my throat is so dry that you could probably use my throat to sand down your car and get it prepped for paint. Like, it is that dry, so it's like really hard to talk. In between takes, sometimes I have to like take sips of water and like do some like breathing exercises like I'm going to meditation. It is just a nightmare. So also, Merry early Christmas. So I wanted to bring that up really quick because it's going live on the 22nd, this video, and you guys are going to see it. Oh my god, oh, I can't wait for Christmas, dude. I know I'm 24. I'm a full-grown man. I shouldn't be this excited for Christmas, but I am. Christmas is the best time of year. I love it. I love just giving my family presents and seeing them open it and be like, oh, thank you so much, Mark. I'm just like, oh yeah, you're welcome. It's amazing. It's great. But without further ado, let's get right into it with number 50. And that, my friends, goes to the Toyota Mark II GX100. Yes, you can find these for less than $5,000. Now, are they going to be an automatic? Yeah. Do you have a problem with that? Probably. Are you going to tell me that you have a problem with that? Hopefully not, because I don't care. Either way, the car comes with a 2.5 liter inline six. It makes 200 horsepower, and it's rear wheel drive. 200 exactly makes my freaking brain do jumping jacks. It makes me so excited. I love when car brands do that, when they have an exact number like 200. Also, the rear wheel drive thing is obviously really good. It's a Toyota inline six, so it's reliable. In terms of making power, it's not the best because it's not a boosted Toyota motor, but it gets the job done, man. And it's an import. Everybody loves an import. Right-hand drive, like, come on, man. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys, though. It's going to be hard to find one of these for under 5K. You might have to scour the internet for a little bit, but it can be done. Coming in at the 14th position, however, is going to be going to the Toyota Corolla S, and that's why it's on this video, because it's a freaking Corolla. Obviously, Corollas are super legendary cars. Everybody in the car community, everybody in the world knows what the Corolla is. It's a legendary daily driver, but it can be so much more than that if you get the S, because you want to know what the S stands for? Squid. It stands for squid. Car comes with a 1.8 liter inline four, making 126 horsepower, and it is going to the front wheels. Obviously, that horsepower number is not crazy, but the car also doesn't weigh that much. And on top of that, it's not trying to be a race car, okay? Just because it is the S variant, the sport model, it doesn't mean that it's a race car. It's just sportier than a regular Corolla. It's for the guy who wants to buy just a reliable car, one of the most reliable cars of all time, to be exact, because it's a freaking Corolla that can get him from point A to point B, but can have a little bit of pep in its step, and that it gets that job done. I think everybody nowadays wants some 800 horsepower Dodge Demon, Dodge Caravan, Hellcat swapped, jet swapped, Boeing 737 that crashed into the Pacific Ocean swapped car, and it's just like, you don't need that, man. A car like this gets the job done. Coming in at 13th place, however, is going to be going to one of my faves, one of my babes, I got a picture of this one on my wall. I rub it every once in a while. The Mazda RX7 FB, Facebook Marketplace RX7s. These, listen, RX7s are obviously horribly unreliable. Everybody knows that. And this one's slightly underpowered as well. It comes with a 1.1 liter two-rotor rotary engine, making only 100 horsepower going to the rear wheels. Is 100 horsepower good even for the time that this car came out? No. It was even slow back then. But it's light, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and try and say that that makes up for it all. No, 100 horsepower will never be fast no matter how light the car is. Motorcycles have like 200 horsepower nowadays, okay? It needs more than that. But you can swap it, you can make it more fun, you can make it a canyon carver and have a ton of fun with this car. It is just an iconic little retro beast. And again, I know it's not as great as the FCs, I know it's not as great as the FDs, but that doesn't mean nobody should talk about them. They're special. 12th place is going to a car that's definitely starting to get more love. People are starting to, to ask this thing to go to its prom with them. The Pontiac Fiero GT. The GT stands for Go Tortoise, because the guy that made this name was actually watching the tortoise versus the hare race and was rooting for him on the side of the road. Either way, the Fiero GT comes with a 2.8 liter V6, making 140 horsepower, going to, you guessed it, the rear wheels. And on top of that, the car is mid-engine. Yeah, mid-engine. This is back when car companies were actually cool and tried to do wacky things like make random cars mid-engine, and it would almost always fail, but who cares, because it made for some iconic cars like the Fiero. Now obviously people don't like the Fiero for multiple reasons. One, the horsepower number is not great. It's not the fastest car out there. Two, they are horribly unreliable. As a matter of fact, these cars like to just catch on fire sometimes. They're just feeling a little fire. It's because they're a Pisces, okay? They're catching on fire. And number three, it has horrible snap oversteer. But if you take all those things, and it's one of those, it's like when you watch a movie that's so bad it turns out to be good. That's what the Fiero GT is. Coming in at the number 11 spot is gonna be going to the Subaru Forester SG. I used to talk about Foresters all the time, and then I stopped. Why? Because I think I lost a couple brain cells. I might have taken a hit while playing like flag football on Thanksgiving with my family or something, because I don't know why I stopped talking about the Foresters. They never got bad. They come with a 2.5 liter flat four, making 165 horsepower, going to all the wheels, because it's a Subaru, and every single Subaru except for the BRZ is all-wheel drive for some reason. The Forester SG, obviously when you look at it and you see it drive by you on the streets, you will not even bat an eye. You'll be like, that is a grandma car, I don't want one. But when you start to see what people can do with these, you'll start to want them. They can not only look good, but they can perform good. They have a Subaru motor at them at the end of the day, and while those do tend to have head gasket issues, they also, while they're running, which yes, may be rare, can make some good power. And on top of that, you can swap this to rear-wheel drive pretty easily. I'm not saying you should, but it's pretty cool. Breaking its way into the top 10 is going to be going to the wonderful Chrysler 300 first generation. I said 300, not 300C, unfortunately, because this is not the V8. I'm pretty sure the C's are the ones that came with the V8, but I don't know, so don't quote me on that. But it's not the V8 models. It comes with a 2.7 liter V6 making 189 horsepower, and it is going to the rear wheels. 189 horsepower sounds like a lot, but the car is heavy, so got to keep that in mind. These are heavy boys, but you're not really buying Chrysler 300s just for the speed. You're buying it for kind of for a combination of everything. It has the speed if you want it. It's made by Dodge pretty much at the end of the day, and everybody loves Dodge Chargers, but nobody talks about Chrysler 300s for some reason. In terms of the looks, they're definitely questionable. You know, they're controversial for sure. I think they look good, but the main thing is the luxury. These cars are actually some luxurious vehicles, tons of space on the inside, and it's comfortable to ride around in. People are gonna think you're a baller on it, man. Buy one. Coming in at 9th place is like every pizza delivery boy's first car for some reason, the Honda Accord 6th generation. Literally every time, like clockwork, that you order a pizza, pay attention to the car, it's a Honda. I don't know if it's an Accord, I don't know if it's Civic, but they're delivering pizzas in them, and for good reason. They come with a 2.3 liter inline four, making 150 horsepower, and is going to the front wheels, and that motor is a Honda motor, so it's insanely freaking reliable, and so that's why people are delivering pizzas in them, because it doesn't matter if it's raining, it doesn't matter if it's snowing, it doesn't matter if they live 2 minutes away from Yellowstone National Park, and that bad boy is deciding to erupt. They will still deliver that pizza on perfect time, because the Accord will do it. I'm not even joking. There could literally be a pile of magma sitting on top of the valve cover of a Honda, and that, you know what it will do? It'll grow windshield wipers on the valve cover of the Honda and wipe the magma off of it. Now, obviously, that's not 100% true. Please don't sue me if your Honda doesn't do that when pouring magma on it, but the Honda Accord is a great car. It's an incredible car. Everybody's starting to love the Civics, which is awesome, but it's time to start loving the Accords, man. Coming in at 8th place, what's that? You want a Honda Accord, but you, for some reason, don't want a Japanese car? Okay, racist. Then why don't you buy the Volkswagen Jetta Mark V? It's pretty much the same freaking thing. The car comes with a wonderful 2-liter turbocharged inline four, making 200 horsepower, and it's going to the front wheels. Now, I will be honest, that is the GLI trim. The GLI trim might as well just be called the GTI, because it's pretty much the same thing as the Mark V GTI Golfs. But that's still under 5K, and it's still really cool. It's, like I said 2 seconds ago, it's pretty much the same thing as a Mark V GTI, which is a really cool car. Everybody already knows that, but if you don't, for some reason, want a hatchback, buy the Mark V Jetta. The reason why the Jetta's here is because everybody knows the GTI, but nobody really talks about the Jettas, and because of that, the prices of them are a lot cheaper than the Golfs are. The more you know. 7th position is going to a car. Uh-oh, guys, oh no. I think it's that time of cold. You know how like after the initial cold comes and then you get a stuffy nose? I think that's happening. My nose is starting to stuff up. I really hope that's not the case. Oh, I would hate to have a stuffy nose on Christmas. Now I'm coughing too. What is Santa doing to me? Either way, 7th place is going to the Nissan 300ZX Z31. This is slightly worse than the Z32 in every single way, but it comes with a 3-liter V6 making 200, my bad, I almost said 100, 222 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive. First of all, really cool number, 222 horsepower, that's awesome. Obviously, we all know, we've all heard the horror stories of working on Z31s. They're not fun to work on, and performance-wise, they're not great, especially not when you compare them to the Z32s, which are just better, pretty much. And the looks are definitely controversial as well, but if you can get past the looks, which I personally think are pretty good-looking cars, actually, then they're pretty much a budget Z32. Not as good, again, I don't want to make that clear, but they're close. Coming in at 6th place is, and we're going in underrated territory that has never been charted before, because everybody already talks about the Mitsubishi 3000 GT as an underrated car, which is ironic because every underrated car video, the 3000 GT makes it in. But nobody talks about the even more underrated variant, the Dodge Stealth. The Dodge Stealth is the exact same thing as the 3000 GT, but Americanized. And this bad boy comes with a 3-liter V6, making 170 horsepower going to the front-wheel drive. Sound familiar? Of course it does, you big Nimrod, because it's the same engine that's in the 3000 GT. It's the same car, but it's made by Dodge. Now, does that scare you a little bit because Dodge's horrible reliability? Yeah, but guess what? The 3000 GT was already unreliable to begin with. So there's no surprises there. It's just as unreliable as the 3K GT was, and it's just as cool as it too. Now, I will say the 3000 GT I do think looks a little bit better, but since 3000 GT prices are freaking skyrocketing right now, while the Dodge Stealth kind of remains the same, I think it's an obvious choice. Coming in at 5th place, I just took the largest sip of Gatorade ever taken before. The Guinness Book of World Records is actually at my front door, and after I film this, I'm going to have to go out there and take a picture with my Gatorade bottle. 5th place is going to the Nissan Sentra B15. I used to love this freaking bad boy because of Need for Speed Underground. It was one of the cars in that game, and I used to choose it all the time. The car comes with a 2.5-liter inline-4, making 170 horsepower in its front-wheel drive. That's good. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that's not bad at all. Front-wheel drive, 170 horsepower in the early 2000s out of a little Nissan. Like, these cars are light. You got to remember that, guys. This was their answer to, like, Civic SIs, and it did the job. And then if you get the SCR, it's even better than that. It has more, like, it's not, I don't think it's any faster, but it does have, like, better suspension and brakes and stuff like that. And you can find one of those also for under 5K. Like, these cars are just cheap budget tuner beast. They're just waiting for you to come pick it up. Speaking of cheap tuner budget beast, 4th place is going to the Lexus GS300. Everybody knows about the IS300, and nowadays everybody is starting to know about the SC300, which is freaking annoying because I know that I have part of the reason to do with that, since I used to talk about the SC300s all the time. And that makes me so mad because I want an SC300, and it drives me insane looking at the prices. But either way, the Lexus GS300 comes with a 3-liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower going to the rear wheels. It has the same engine as the IS300 and SC300, and I think there's even another one, the ES300. Is that the one that it was with the 2J GE? I think the Mark IV Supra obviously had it, but either way, there was a couple of cars with the 2JZ GE. The only reason why people don't really talk about this one compared to the SCs and the ISs is for 2 reasons. One, they're heavy. They're bigger than the SC and they're bigger than the IS. And number 2, they're only available with an automatic transmission, which does drive people away. But at this point, most people are just buying automatic IS300s and SC300s anyways and swapping them to manuals. So if you're already going to do that, then that doesn't really matter with the GS300. And yes, it is slightly heavier, but that's because it's much more luxurious than those other two. It's much more comfortable. And if you don't need that because you're going to turn it into a sports car or drift car, whatever it may be, then you could just take all those luxuries out and make it lighter and make it a good car. It's a good car, and I think it looks good too. Coming in at 3rd place, the bronze medal for today's list is going to be going to the BMW 540i E39. It is not a Mark Roden video unless BMW is mentioned at least once. I love BMW. The E39 in particular is an absolute underrated legend. This bad mother jammer comes with a 4.4-liter V8 making 286 horsepower going to the rear wheels. That's good. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 286 horsepower in the 2000s is just good. Like, plain and simple good. And on top of that, I know what you're thinking. No, it's a V8 by a German car brand. Like, it's got to be unreliable. It's got to be horrible. Apparently not. Almost every forum you look at for E39s, the owners seem to have like relatively no issues with their 540i E39s, which is really surprising. I know. I expected a V8 2000 BMW motor to be horribly unreliable too, but apparently this was like the freaking ugly duckling of the family, or whatever they're calling it, the outcast of the family, because it was reliable. Really quick before we get into this one, I didn't think ugly duckling was the correct phrase to use there, so I looked up another word for ugly duckling of the family on Google, and this is what it said. If you want another phrase to describe the ugly duckling of the family, you could say black sheep of the family, which is the one I was thinking of. That's the one I was initially going with. Odd one out, which makes sense. The misfit, which also kind of makes sense. The rough diamond, I've never heard that before. Or the unremarkable member. I'm just going to put it out there. If your family is like, oh yeah, he's the unremarkable member of the family, leave them. They hate you. That is a horrible thing to say about your own family. Either way though, coming in at second place is the Hyundai Genesis Coupe BK1. These bad boys come with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 making 210 horsepower going to the rear-wheel drive. In terms of like performance, it's obviously not the best out there, but it's a rear-wheel drive, relatively modern car with relatively modern features in it, and it's turbocharged from factory, so you can get some more power out of it. And in my opinion, Genesis Coupes look incredible. Like, they're one of the best looking sports cars of the early 2010s right now. I just said early 2010s right now, like the early 2010s are still going on. Obviously those are over. Either way, honorable mention is the Honda CR-V first generation, because you guys thought there was only going to be 15. Haha, you big silly goofy goober. The CR-V first gen is slept on in every sense of the word. It comes with a 2-liter inline-4 making 146 horsepower going to the front wheels. That's a K series, friend. And since it's the first gen CR-V, guess what also it had? A manual transmission in a crossover SUV. On top of that, yes, it's a crossover SUV. I know everybody doesn't like that, but it's still lightweight. Like, it's pretty freaking light, and it's a Honda. It's reliable. Everything about the first gen CR-V is amazing, and nobody talks about them. But of course, first place, I mean, oh my gosh. It is not a cheap cars video in 2024 unless somebody mentions a Miata, because it's the Mazda Miata NB. Specifically the NB because everybody loves the NA for its cute little pop-up in headlights. Ooh, woo, yay, I'm a big anime fan. Yay, I'm gonna go watch my favorite Twitch streamer, Kai Cenat. Shut up, buddy. Buy a real man's Miata, the NB. This thing's a beast. Car comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4 making 135 horsepower going to rear wheels. It's literally the exact same car for those who don't know. The NA Miata, for anybody that's like, man, I'm actually a big fan of Kai Cenat, man, why are you making fun of me? Listen, I love the NA Miatas too. They are pretty cool cars, okay? I do like them. But in 2024, where the price is as high as they are, it makes no sense to buy one of those when you can just buy an NB for less than an NA now. They're literally cheaper than the NAs, and they are the exact same car, just better. Like, it's just a better version of the NA. I know someone out there's gonna be like, well, actually they're heavier. They're heavier by 100 pounds. Okay? Just ask your friend to get out of the car and you're fine. Literally just like clip your toenails before getting into it and you'll cut off the weight that it has on the NA. There's no problem with that. 100 pounds is nothing, okay? And the thing is absolutely, I don't have to sell a Miata on you, obviously, but it's the exact same thing as the NA. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. That was actually a horrible idea. Why did I do that? Because it just made me even more stuffed up. It just got all my sinuses all stuffed up. That was a stupid idea. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I just started my 4th YouTube channel. Can you guys believe that? 4th. It's called just Giggity. I have 2 other YouTube channels where I go over like video game content. I don't really do them as seriously as I take this channel. I just kind of was for fun. But I decided to do a 4th one because I am the most overthinking man on planet Earth. Like, every single time I like see something, I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. I gotta do it. And it's awful. And then I forget things and I'm just all over the place all the time. And so for some reason I decided to start one about Call of Duty. Don't know why. Horrible idea there, but now I got another thing to worry about, so that's great. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. My cold is driving me insane, so I'm gonna keep this outro short and sweet. And Merry Early Christmas, like I said in the intro, man. We are on the 22nd of December. We have 3 days left until Christmas. I love Christmas. Christmas is my favorite time of the freaking year. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate, man. As long as you're happy around this time of year, as long as you're excited for whatever holiday it is that you celebrate around this time of year, then I'm happy for you, man. It's just a great time of year, and I just want to make sure every human being out there is happy. Like, I can't imagine a single person out there being like, I want to go to war right now. Like, it's just not possible. How could you be mad at the world at this time of year? It's just great. It's amazing. If you don't have a family or friends to celebrate it with me, man. Celebrate it with me vicariously, because guess what? I'm not going to be able to sleep on Christmas Eve. I'm a 24-year-old man, and I still get excited for Mr. Santa Claus to be coming down my chimney. I can't wait. I still want to see how he does it, because our chimney is really small. I couldn't even fit down that, and I'm a skinny dude. You guys know that. I'm a skinny guy. How is he doing it? You know, it's driving me insane. I gotta know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.